That night was supposed to end my life as I knew it, but instead, it tied my soul to a stranger I was never meant to meet. My name is Jessica. Some nights pass quietly. Some nights change everything. That night did both. I didn't leave my house looking for love. I left because I was tired of pretending I was fine. Tired of carrying emotions no one noticed. Tired of waiting for life to feel meaningful again. The city lights looked beautiful from a distance, but inside, I felt empty. I kept walking without a plan. The streets were alive, yet lonely. Cars passed. People laughed. Music floated out of cafes. And still, I felt invisible. That's when the rain started, soft at first, then heavy, like the sky was finally letting go of everything that had been holding. I stepped under the dim light of a closed bookstore. That's when I saw him. He was standing a few steps away, soaked, breathing heavily, staring at the road like he was waiting for something to run from it. There was pain in his eyes, not loud pain, quiet, dangerous pain. Our eyes met. For a moment, the world paused. He looked away first. I should have done the same. I didn't. Long night, I asked, not knowing why I spoke. He gave a small, tired smile. Long life. That answer stayed with me. His name was Ethan. We didn't exchange stories right away. We just stood there, listening to the rain, to strangers sharing silence in a city that never sleeps. Strangely, it didn't feel awkward. It felt necessary. Are you lost? He asked. I shook my head. No, just avoiding going home. He nodded slowly. Same. That's how it began. Not with romance, not with attraction, but with honesty. We decided to walk. No destination, no expectations, just two souls moving through wet streets, talking about nothing and somehow everything. He told me he felt stuck, like life had promised him more but never delivered. I told him I felt forgotten, like I was living on pause. I feel like tonight is dangerous, I said half-jokingly. He looked at me seriously. Some nights are meant to be. There was something about him, something broken but controlled, like a man holding himself together with willpower alone. I wanted to ask more, but I didn't want to scare the moment away. We reached the river. City lights reflected on the water, shaking with every ripple. The rain had slowed, leaving the air cold and honest. We sat on a bench, close but not touching. I almost didn't come out tonight, Ethan said quietly. Why did you? I asked. He hesitated, then said, because if I stayed inside, I might have done something I couldn't undo. My heart tightened. I turned toward him. Are you okay? He laughed softly, but it sounded empty. I don't know, but meeting you helped more than you realize. That scared me. Because meeting him had done the same to me. There was a pull between us, not physical, not rushed, emotional, deep, like we were mirrors reflecting parts of ourselves we tried to hide. The wind grew colder. Without thinking, I moved slightly closer. Our shoulders touched. Neither of us pulled away. That touch felt electric, not because it was romantic, but because it was grounding, like confirmation that we were real, that this night wasn't a dream. I feel strange, I admitted, like I've known you before. Ethan swallowed hard. I feel like if I hadn't met you tonight, I would have been lost for good. That's when I realized something terrifying. We weren't just two people meeting by chance. We were two souls standing at the edge of something irreversible. Suddenly, his phone vibrated. He looked at the screen and frowned. What is it? I asked. His face changed for guilt, conflict all at once. I shouldn't be here, he said, standing up quickly. My heart dropped. Why? He ran a hand through his wet hair. Because this night, this connection, it's dangerous. Dangerous how? I asked, standing too. He looked at me, eyes full of pain. Because I'm not as free as you think. Before I could ask more, footsteps echoed behind us. A woman's voice called his name from across the road. Ethan. He closed his eyes. That was the moment everything shattered. He turned back to me. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't mean for this to happen. Mean for what? I asked, my voice shaking. For you to matter this much. He walked away. Just like that. I stood there alone, rain dripping from my hair, heart racing, mind spinning. In one night, a stranger had walked into my soul and walked out with a piece of it. I didn't even know what I had lost. But I knew one thing. That night wasn't over. And neither was our story. I thought that night was over, but when the truth came out, I realized it had only just begun. I didn't move for a long time after Ethan walked away. The rain had stopped, but my heart was still storming. People passed by, cars moved, the city breathed like nothing had happened. But inside me, something had cracked open and refused to close. I went home that night feeling like a stranger in my own life. Sleep didn't come easily. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him standing by the river with hair, tired eyes, a soul carrying too much weight. I kept replaying his last words. I didn't mean for you to matter this much. Why did that hurt more than goodbye? The next few days were unbearable. I went to work, smiled at people, lived normally, but inside, I was searching for answers to questions I didn't even know how to ask. Who was that woman? Why did I look afraid instead of happy? And why did one night with a stranger feel heavier than years of familiar faces? I told myself it was over. But life had other plans. A week later, I saw him again. I was crossing the street near a cafe when I felt that strange pull. I looked up, and there he was, standing across the road, still, like he wasn't sure whether to come closer or disappear again. Our eyes met. Time slowed. He walked toward me, cautiously, like someone approaching something fragile. Jessica, he said quietly, I didn't think I'd see you again. I didn't think you wanted to, I replied. He nodded. I didn't deserve to. We sat inside the cafe. The silence between us was heavier than before. Finally, he spoke. That night, I wasn't honest. I didn't interrupt. I was engaged, he continued, not because I was in love but because I was afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over. My chest tightened. And that night, he said, looking at me, I realized how empty my life had become. Anger rose in me, so did understanding. Then why did you leave? I asked. Because meeting you showed me the truth, he replied, and truth scares people who are living lies. I stood up. I won't be someone's escape, I said firmly. I won't be a secret. He looked up at me, eyes full of regret. I know, that's why I ended it. That shocked me. I walked away from everything, he continued, because I couldn't forget you, and because I didn't want to meet you again as half a person. That was the moment love stopped being romantic and became real. But reality is never simple. We didn't rush into each other's arms. We didn't pretend pain didn't exist. Trust had been broken before it could fully form. Weeks passed. We talked slowly, carefully. Sometimes the conversations were warm. Sometimes they were uncomfortable. We argued. We doubted. We pulled back. There were days I thought walking away would be easier. But love doesn't leave quietly. One evening, we returned to the river, same place where everything began. The city lights shimmered like memories refusing to fade. Ethan looked at me and said, that night, two broken souls met by accident, but loving you is a choice I make every day. I took a deep breath. I won't promise forever, I said, but I'll promise honesty. He smiled. That's all I ever wanted. We stood to be not lost anymore, but not completely found either. Love didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the past. It didn't make life perfect. But it gave us courage. Sometimes, two souls meet in one night, not to be saved but to remind each other how to live again. And even if the world never understands our beginning, we will always remember that night. The night the souls were lost and quietly found each other.